Testing. Oh, there we go. Hello, folks. Just down a bit. Testing. Testing. Everybody back there can hear me? Awesome. Well, notice a couple of spots where it drops and it gets like a sound, so let me adjust. I was actually in here when this building was built, so I told you how old I am. It's like my 100 years with age. I think it's in since 05 it started. So, anywho, welcome again, Dr. Knapp. I teach. This has now changed names. It used to be 33, 32, about a year ago. Yes, changed. So now we're 23, 21. Okay. Now we call it microbiology for science majors. Okay. So today is the equivalent of you going to the office where you were just hired. So what do you do on day one? You go, where's my cubicle and where do I find the bathroom? So that's what today is basically. Finding where's the bathroom and, you know, who is Dr. Knapp and what's this all about kind of thing. Okay. No content today. Except at the very, very end, but only in terms of a thicker question. So thickers, which I'm sure, if you're not familiar with those, most of you are, because they're used by almost everybody on campus nowadays. But we're going to do some practice with those, only just to see, so you see how it works. If you're not familiar with it, that it does work. If you aren't familiar with it, nothing's official with clickers until September 1. We'll get into that in a second. But I've already I sent out an email this morning. I think I sent 2 emails out last week. All 3 emails being basically the same thing. Okay, so just kind of give you an overview of the course, attach the syllabus, so you can go through and see what the course is all about. Today, I'm really just going to really kind of quickly go through some stuff. I'm assuming that most of you have already looked at the main things, like what's my grade control with those, and we've hopefully gone through Blackboard to see the layout there on what's available. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that. I don't expect to be in here maybe the full hour, 15, 20 minutes, 90 minutes. Okay. So again, just kind of get you oriented. It's the first 3 classes. You guys are probably kind of spinning already. All right. So Thursday we will start on real content. Okay. So so let's go through some of these things. So I'm located over in STL building, 222. So office hours are Mondays and Wednesdays. So everything's kind of changed. So for me, I've always taught Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So now I'm going back to what I did, I don't know, probably 12 years ago. So I teach everything on Tuesday, Thursday. Okay, so I have this course 11:30 to 1. Then I got the microbiology for non-science majors at 4 to 5:30. So I'm doing everything Tuesday, Thursday. So I'll have office hours Monday, Wednesday. You can access. It will start next week. Office hours. So you can access via Teams the link. So you can do it virtually. You can come in person if you want. Okay, during those same hours. Okay. But I am going to keep virtual hours because people. I don't. I think a lot of people like that. So anyway, so it's virtual or in face-to-face, if you will. Okay, so I'm over in STL building. So if you're attending a lab, it's the same building where the labs are at. Okay. Speaking of, no, not quite yet. So anyway, of course, I checked. This morning. There's openings. I mean, they're filling all bathrooms as far as the brim. Okay. So I think there's still another 11 slots and more they need to add. So I think it's almost 550 people, I think. So anyway, it's open. So you can add yourself. If you're in here not enrolled, you can certainly enroll. Okay. Labs. Okay, so labs are its own independent course. Okay. If you want to add to that, you do so like you would in any other course. Okay. But they're full. Although I think there may be, I saw 2 sections that each had 1 open. Okay. So aside from that, everything is full. We don't stuff, unlike the large electric courses where we can't stuff more people in, can't do it for labs. Okay. Mainly because, rightfully so, with safety issues. So the campus environmental health and safety office says no more than 24 people in the lab. So that's it. Okay. So labs fill up very quickly, but micro lab is offered every semester. Okay. So especially in the summer, there's lots of room in the summer. So, but I know not everybody has to go to summer school. But regardless, you'll have other opportunities to take the lab if you don't get in this semester. And at this point, realistically, it's unlikely you're going to get it. Okay. So you can waitlist. That's really the only option. Okay. And if you do waitlist, it's all automatic. If enough slots open ahead of you, you'll get automatically put in, and UH will automatically send you an email saying you've been added. Okay, so it's all kind of just built by itself. Okay, and it's okay to not take lab at the same time because there are 2 independent courses. Yeah, there's some stuff I talk about here that may be relevant to lab. But don't think that because you're not taking lab that, oh my God, I'm doomed in the electric course. Absolutely not. Okay, so don't worry about that. All right, communication. And this is particularly important because, as you see, I do email on a regular basis. And so, granted, the last 3 emails have been kind of repetitive stuff. Okay. But basically what I do is I send them out on Monday and typically Thursday or Friday. Okay. And it's just reminders. So from here on out, so it's already actually the emails will be shorter, okay? But they will say like, okay, you have this quiz coming up on Blackboard, this is coming up, blah blah. We're covering this in class, that. Okay. So you'll get those twice a week. So the point is, I've already gotten since I started sending out emails over a week ago. I think I've sent 3 total so far. I've already got bounce backs. So some emails have not gotten through. Okay, and I would say it's probably about maybe 4 or 5, maybe not even that, maybe 3 or 4 people to which that's happened, and they bounce back to me. Okay, it's issues related to when you tie your various email accounts into one thing, into one unit, and then that somehow screws can sometimes be the issue. Okay. So, like I said, I've sent out 3 emails in the past 10 days or so. And if you have not gotten anything, and you've already been enrolled during that time, and you haven't gotten anything, then you need to fix that. Okay? And so if you need help, go to UHIT. They're over in, I think they're in that, behind the library, down in the bowels of the library there. The back entrance. I think that's where we're at. So, but just you get it because you want to be aware of stuff I'm sending out. Okay, not that it's earth-shattering information; it's just kind of reminders of things. But I think it's good to be able to get the stuff I'm sending you. So, but if you email me, Okay, so I have four students from 4 different courses that will email me that differ in the course number. And they're all microbiology. Okay? 2 are labs, 2 are electric courses. So if you say, I'm a student in your microbiology course, I have no idea. It could be one of 4 things. And I don't want to go up, look up all the rosters for each thing. So just put, you don't have to put BIOL in front. Just put your number, course number. If you're in lab as well, then put 2121. Okay? If you're a lecturer, just put 23. Just put that somewhere in the email, because I don't want to have to look up what class you in. Okay? So do that. So 48-hour rule is in Monday through Friday, right? And I generally answer pretty quick. Okay? And so if you're certainly not hearing a response from me when you send something to me within 48 hours, then there's something definitely wrong. So assume it didn't get through. Okay? And best thing is to come talk to me after class, before class, and say, okay, what's going on? It's likely one of these things you're going to have to do HIT in these things. Okay? So, yeah, you certainly shouldn't go more than 48 hours without a response. That assume it didn't get through and I didn't see it. So, let's see. Okay. All right. The syllabus. Yes, it's horrifically long. Okay? Because the university wants us to put a lot of language in, right? A lot of stuff. Okay? So, it's gotten to the point now, it's even a table of contents. Okay? It's insane. But it's, it does, I think I cover almost any question you may have regarding this course in terms of the administrative aspect, I call it, will be in there, right? So the table of contents makes it easier for you to say, okay, I want to look at this particular thing to find my answer. Okay, so that's why we have a table of contents. Okay, so do go through it. Okay, you will be expected to be familiar with the policies. Right, so ignorance of the law is not an excuse. Okay, so do be aware of these. So yeah, pretty much all the policies and things are going to be in here. The Blackboard course, okay, the Blackboard site, okay, do go through that, right? There are multiple folders for things. Within those folders, there's subfolders. So make sure you go through to make sure you know where stuff is at. Right? Not that complicated, just take a few minutes just to do that. Right now, Unit 1 materials available. Okay, all the notes, all the whatever else is in there. Okay, it's all available. So just do yourself a favor, go through, make sure you see everything there you're supposed to see. Okay, if you just added this course, like today or yesterday, it will take a couple days in order for that Blackboard site to pop up. Okay, just be patient; it will show up. Okay. Okay, one other thing. So in addition to the regular material, which you'll access through, well, it's what pops up first anyway, but it's through, if you click on that, that's the course material I'm talking about is it's through here, click here. It's integrated with the textbook, okay? So that's what this is. So you click on this menu button, okay? It'll take you to this. This is where SmartWork, it'll take you to SmartWork, the ebook if you have that, you can access. Although this is part of your grade, right, this other stuff isn't, okay? It's just organized in this way, so learning objectives, flashcards if you want them, animations, and you can access through these other links here, okay? Strictly optional, you don't have to do it, but take a look. Take a look before you dismiss it. It's just an extra resource, okay? But sometimes you can get too much stuff, all right? So just kind of, again, optional, not for grade, just, take a look. If you like it, fine. If not, use some of it, use none of it, whatever, okay? All right. Grades and policy, all right? So, for exams, then we have Blackboard, weekly unit quizzes, homework, and smart work. Attendance, talk about that. A couple of extra credit opportunities. So exams are at CASA, so you can bring to CASA. Again, go to schools. We'll give you all the information you need. Basically, just have to just go to the CASA website, register yourself, and you're good to go. Okay? But you need to do that in order to get a time slot. Okay? Exams are taken over a 2-day period or multiple time slots. I don't know what those specific time slots are. I think they can vary from exam to exam and what's available with CASA, because CASA is dealing with millions of courses and exams going on there, so they do schedule. But again, multiple time slots on both days, so there's options there. Okay. The CASA scheduler, when you do this, becomes available 2 weeks before the exam. So if you're particularly keen on a time, then make a reminder for yourself to check 2 weeks before so that you can lock that down. Okay. Blackboard quiz. So the CASA exams, of course, those you're familiar with, I'm sure. They're proctors walking around checking stuff. Okay. Blackboard quizzes. There's none. Right? These are not even web proctors, right? So you're familiar with what's it called? Respondents. Right? It's not that at all. You can have a party while you're doing your quiz if you want to. Okay? You have all your friends over, whatever. Okay? Up to you how you're going to do it. But that's what these are. So they're kind of meant to give you many of these are old exam questions. So the ways to kind of see if what kind of exam questions I'm going to see. The Blackboard quizzes will give you a good review of that. Okay? So the weekly quizzes basically just cover what we talked about in class during this week. Okay? During that week. Unit quizzes are meant to be a little more comprehensive, so they're kind of meant to be like a summary of the previous 3 weeks or so. Materials are a little bit longer. You do have, for both times, you have basically from Friday through Monday to complete. All right? So it's like a 4-day period, okay, to complete them. Whenever you do start your quiz, you can start at any time you want in those 4 days. But once you do start, that's when the clock ticks, right? So you have 30 minutes, then you got 30 minutes from whenever you start the quiz, okay? So, 1 attempt, and you see the questions, the number of questions. So when you go to the Blackboard site and you click on the quiz there will give you a description of what's supposed to be covered, yada yada. Okay? And there's no quizzes this week, obviously, guys, but they will begin to be due later next week. Okay? Let's see. All smart. Okay, so the textbook. So textbook, I do recommend a textbook. Obviously, cost is a course issue. I completely understand. So the cheapest option is the ebook. Right? And the ebook plus the access to smart work is the cheapest option. And I think, I'm not 100% sure, but I think the cheapest is going through to the published website. Cut out UH if you can, but I realize some can't do that because there's an actual education you're supposed to. But anyway, the point is, look for the cheapest option you can. You can get prior editions of the book. But even this current edition is not new. Okay? Published like 3 years ago, I think. So there's still, assuming you can get that at a reduced price, assuming you can get this is the 5th, you can get a 4th edition, the 3rd edition. Those are good. So I really completely get that you would get, only that 4th on stuff. So yeah, the attendance. So smart work attendance and quizzes are all 8%. Okay, that'd be great. So the clickers, I also noticed that until right before class, I downloaded the app myself, and I realized the interface looks a little bit different. So apparently the company was bought out by somebody else. So it's only a little different from maybe what you're used to. And it's called Point Solutions is what they're called now. But anyway, doesn't matter. Everything else pretty much works pretty much the same from what I can see. Okay, so note that up here, there's a little box here is session ID. So that's what you want to put in to use your mobile app. Okay, that's session 9. Okay. If you have the handheld clickers, that's okay. That's fine. And I realize you maybe have those from prior semesters, so that's always channel 41. Okay. But I do recommend it because the mobile app can be a cheaper option as well. So that's so if you don't have it, definitely get the mobile app. Okay. And the wireless connections in here I think are fairly good. I haven't had any issues with wireless connections in here, which is what your mobile app depends on, obviously. So, so yeah, do that. Registration information, there's a link on Blackboard. You guys have already seen it called Turning Point, so just click on that and complete the registration process. Okay. So 70% attendance policy, all right? So basically counts, there's 25 classes, so you just have to come to 18, right? So you get 7 days built in to cover any absences. Stuff happens to all of us where we have to miss class, that's obviously understandable, but you have 7 days, right, of absences where you don't have to worry about it, right? You don't have to tell me either, right? We're going to be gone one of those 7 days. Fine, that's fine. Because the attendance grade is made up of 18 of those days, not all 25. So you got a good cushion, right? 7 days is 2.5 weeks, right, worth of classes. So, so just know that, okay? So you got time built in to, if something happens or you can't make it, don't need to worry about it, okay? Because everything you see on these screens and here, okay, is recorded, okay? So if you do this class, you can be sure that you will never miss out on any information because you just go back and look at the video, okay? Let's see. Okay, so clickers, if you have one already, check to make sure it's unexpired. I can see them for like a new check mark or something. So you may or may not have your new license. Okay. Let's see. I guess I get the one that's the cheapest. Clicker info. Okay. If you have any questions, again. Okay. Paper submissions. Okay, are not accepted. Right. So if you, I can't imagine if you get your cell phone, okay, on the class. But if something happens where you don't have any way to submit an answer, however that may be, I just don't take paper submissions. Okay? You have to answer digitally. Okay. Okay. Any questions? Okay. All right. If I didn't see your hand, scream at me. That's okay. Flip class, all right, so kind of to mix things up during the semester, you do one of these per unit, okay? All it really is just kind of putting the onus on you to do the preparation when you should prepare. You know, before you come to class all the time, but in these, you're going to do kind of a reason for me to not have a lecture. But I will say, of course, I will contribute something on these days, obviously. But so what will happen is you will have a lecture, pre-recorded lecture that you'll go through. These become available like a week before that particular class day, and so you of course have lecture notes. And so you basically you're just going to kind of attempt to master the material on your own. Okay, and then class time will be class is always has different questions always, but there'll be more of those on flip days because we're going to center that discussion around a bunch of clicker questions and go at it that way. Okay, so I tend to pick topics where I know the content for that topic could be kind of problematic for folks, and one of those is chapter 13, which is metabolism, and sometimes makes students run for the doors when they hear metabolism. But so it's kind of meant to kind of maybe to make it more palatable, maybe. Okay, make it easier to understand. So So the days we do these tend to be topics that are known to be problematic. Okay? Maybe not for everybody, but anyway. So that's kind of what this is about. There is no extra grade for these, right? It's just using past time to kind of do it a little bit different. Okay? Maybe I'll add more of these during the semester, but we'll see. All right, COVID. Oh my God, I'm still talking about COVID. Okay. You may or may not be aware that CDC recently, this week I think, changed or modified some of the policies, lightened them up a little bit. But I have to check today. But U of H hasn't yet changed their language. Okay, that may be coming. Okay, so what you see here on the syllabus is their current policy. That's basically what I'm calling. Okay, so UH, this is a little flow chart you see when you go to their website, their COVID website. So I'm basically following what they tell us to do. Okay, so if you've tested positive, you're experiencing symptoms, don't come to class and infect others. Okay? And so remember, you got those 7 days, right, of class time you can miss without, it affecting you. So it may have to fall into those things. Okay? So, but again, just following what UH guidelines are. I'm not doing anything different. Okay? And again, the only thing that may change is maybe the policies may modify slightly based on if UH follows what the CDC says. Anyway, that's wait and see. Okay. General class policy. So missed the exam. So number one, clearly missed the exam. Okay, is communicate. Communicate quickly. Okay. If you anticipate something's coming up and you may need to otherwise modify or change or missing that, just let me know. Right? Don't hold on to the information and let me know 2 weeks later. Right? As soon as you know something's happened, boom, notify me. Okay? That's number one. Then it's about, as with any kind of missed or late work, documentation. Provide documentation. Right? Whether it's a medical note with the clinic's name and number on it, a tow truck invoice, okay, a police report from a wreck, whatever. Okay, provide evidence. Okay, I would like to take care of your word. Okay, I'm not doing it to be rude, but I have to just prove that what happened to you happened. Basically. Okay, it's not enough to say, oh, I had a wreck this morning. Okay, not that I don't believe you, but back it up. Right? I've been in wrecks as well. There's paperwork and stuff you fill out, so just provide information. Okay, and be prompt in reporting it. Okay, and then if you do that, it really won't be an issue. Okay, so UH just used absence policy. So again, that's in the syllabus. So look over that as well. COVID exam policy. So again, that's documentation of a positive test result. Okay, just show me the positive. Just show me the evidence, and then we'll just work from that. Okay. Grade disputes. So once grades are posted, you have a week to challenge it. Okay. Of course, you see all your grades on Blackboard. Right? So they'll be visible on Blackboard, and they'll be posted as clicker points are posted pretty much the next day. Of course, all grades are pretty much posted pretty promptly. So you can figure your grade out at really any point in time during the semester and have a pretty estimate of where you stand. Okay. Academic honesty, so certainly at CASA, okay. Any incidents that occur, they notify me in writing and this and that. So just don't do anything suspicious, okay, or you deem that being suspicious. Oops. I guess I'm on that page. Okay. Any questions? Okay. All right. So this course, okay, If there is one thing, minimum, I'd like to take away from this by the time December rolls around, is obviously there's been overwhelmingly perception of microbes. It's obviously been skewed by the events of the last 3 years, okay? Being negative, right, COVID, now monkeypox apparently. We'll talk about that later in the semester. General negative attitude, okay, about microbes. So if there's anything you take away is that, and our focus in this course is on prokaryotes, okay, and viruses, prokaryotes and viruses. We don't spend time really on eukaryotic cells other than for comparative purposes here and there, okay. All your other bio courses you take are basically eukaryotic cells are what you study, okay. So focusing here is on prokaryotes, okay. So what I can say is, so hopefully you take away at the end of the semester at minimum is, wow, I didn't know bacteria and I didn't know prokaryotes were so important to life on this planet and the cool stuff they do, right? So to take away, and most of them have benefits, are positive, and very few are the negative ones, but of course, it's the negative ones that get depressed, okay? Anywho, so that's, so kind of, like I said, at minimum, hopefully you can relate to that kind of a perspective. So anyway, so unit 1, so we have 4 units, each exam covers 1 unit. There is no final exam in the sense of incomprehensible, right? So each exam is its own thing, covering 1 unit, okay? So we start with Thursday. We'll start with basically how you define microbes, classify them, a little bit of a historical perspective. Then we get into cell structure, growth, culture, control of growth. Then we get to metabolism in unit 2, and viruses as well. Start with viruses, metabolism, different nutritional types. Okay. Then unit 3 is a little bit about ecology at the beginning. Then this is more or less these aspects of bacterial genetics here. And then we finish with medical microbiology. So your immune system, bacterial pathogenesis, how bacteria that are disease-causing types get around your defenses and cause disease. Then we'll look at a list of about 15 or so infectious diseases we'll go through at the end of the semester at the very end. So that's kind of the layout of the course. And again, each unit will have its own exam. Okay? All right, so we have a clicker. If you have the app or the handheld clicker, let's use it and see how it goes. So here's a question. I have a specific grade I must make in this course. My life depends on it. Okay? I need this grade in order to graduate. No, it could be if you need a C plus, or you need a B minus, or you need whatever. Okay. To graduate, to stay on probation, to maintain a scholarship, or other. Okay. This applies to me. This doesn't apply to me. Okay, so this is proposed open. So that note at the bottom, weeks 1 through 14 versus week 15. Okay. This isn't a poll question, but when do you think most people want my help? Week 15 or weeks 1 through 14? 15. Definitely 15. All right, so we got 109, 10, 13, okay. Yeah?
If it asks for the user ID, do we just use our KuberNet?
You mean for your mobile app? Is that what you got?
Yes.
I think you used this. Oh, yeah, I remember that question. I don't think you have to worry about that. Just put in the session ID, yeah. Because I remember that from last semester, yeah.
For me, it asked me for account information.
Okay. Yeah, I think as long as you put the session ID in, you're okay. Because I remember students asking me that last semester, and some did, some didn't, in terms of user ID. You can do it, but I'll get clarification on that. Okay. So again, with these clickers, so I'll post the stuff, the points on Blackboard, but they're not going to count for anything yet. It's just to reassure you that your use of the clicker is ending up, and you can see your points on Blackboard. Okay, so it's really just for that purpose. Once again, September 1 is the date where it becomes real, and on that day I'll just delete the previous clicker points and then start fresh again. Okay. All right, so let's see what we got here. I'm going to say the consensus is this applies to me. Of course, 14. No right or wrong answer here. Okay. As expected. Okay. Okay. So what I mentioned. So weeks 1 to 14. Right. So my ability to help you. Right. Because I'm not a research professor. I'm an instructional professor. So this is my thing. Okay. I'm not have to worry about a research program. So the point is, let me help you before we get to week 15, right? Because I can't help you at week 15, right? Semester's over. I mean, I can help you with the material on the last exam during that time, okay? But I can't just start magically building out points, right, to put you over the whatever grade you need, okay? Obviously, that's not going to be fair to everybody in this course, okay? So let me help you before then, okay? Because I absolutely can do that, okay? So this kind of goes into now a little bit about how to study, okay? So, number one, don't try to memorize everything. Okay? It's going to be stuff to memorize. To be honest, kind of the more memorization heavy stuff is really at the very end with the infectious diseases, okay? But before then, it's some, but not a lot, okay? Other thing is, I'm sure you've probably heard, if you've been here teaching long enough, word gets around, okay? And so, friends you have in a big court before will tell you, yeah, that's what I like to do, and bam, with snap, no problem. Just do right, okay? I would kind of put a filter on that, okay, because they're not you, they don't know how you study or how you learn stuff, okay? So, listen to them, take it with a grain of salt, it may apply or not apply to you, but just, anyway, use your own judgment, okay? But at minimum, you should come to class, let's say Thursday, right? At the bare minimum, you've read the chapter, you've gone through the lecture notes, you try to somewhat think about, okay, what's the main thing from this chapter? The exam review sheet is already available. Okay? Do look at that. Look at the kind of what's going to be covered. Okay? And constantly ask yourself, what makes me think I know this material? Right? The answer to that question is not, well, I read the book, I looked at the notes. No. Actually, the question is, if I ask you, tell me what you know about microbial growth. Just verbalize it. Go to the whiteboard and draw it out, what you know. And if you're stumbling for an answer, then all that reading you did, all that flipping through notes you did, was for nothing. Because it really didn't sink in. You really don't understand. Okay? So you need to do things that are a little more active. Okay? And that's what we'll talk about here in a second. The concept mapping, I don't really like that term, but that's kind of what's been called. Mind mapping is another one. Okay? Once you've kind of done these couple things together, materials, lecture notes, textbook, read the text pages, go through the lecture notes, attend lecture, right? If you have questions, certainly bring them up during lecture. Print out the notes, add to it, okay? Afterwards, you will have the video lecture at your disposal, and you don't have to, I'm going to post those, actually post them in two ways. And one is through what's called this video points site, it's a UH maintained service, okay? And video lectures uploaded to that, they have this proprietary technology that takes the video lecture, kind of blocks it off, and allows you to put keywords in to find stuff, and partitions it so you can look at certain sections. All right, so it makes it easy kind of to navigate, because you may not want to see the whole thing. Maybe you just want to just review one part of it, and that enables you to do that pretty easily. So that'll be available through video points, and nothing you need to worry about. You just need to click on the link when it's available and take you right there. So what you have, it makes it easy to kind of navigate your video lecture if you're really interested in a particular part. Okay. Anyway, so you have that at your disposal as well. But again, you can review stuff as needed. Okay. You have the smart work, you have the weekly quiz. But again, and you can have all these resources. You can have 10 Nobel Prize winners in microbiology helping. It doesn't matter, right? Because I've had students that have come in during office hours, and they've done all that stuff. And they've had tutors, and they've had this and that, and they've done everything else. And I ask them a basic question, like, okay, explain to me about microbial growth. And they can't do it. Care a lot, okay? What were all those tutors and books and stuff for? Okay? So, you need a way to kind of break it down, and you can use the exam review sheet, right? Use the header points, right, to kind of organize it. And you go, okay, try to synthesize the information in your own words, okay? So one example is something like I mentioned before, bacterial growth, okay? This is chapter 4, no, 5. Anyway, chapter 4, I think, is bacterial growth. So you might write that down on your paper, okay? And you go, okay, I'm going to review bacterial growth. You do whatever it is you do, study-wise. You come back, and you have your blank paper, okay? And that's all you've got. You don't have anything else around you. It's not an exercise in copying from the book or copying what you hear in a lecture. It's what's your brain got to say about it. You just studied it, now you're going to put it to the test, okay? And you're going to try to fill out the page. That's what I know about bacterial growth. Well, let's see. Let's see. What do I know? Let's see. We need growth medium, right? Well, what kind of growth media are there? Well, there's selective media. There's differential, and again, how you fill it out is based on your knowledge base. Okay, differential media. Let's see what else. There's a growth curve. Will bacteria have a growth curve like this? There's like a lag phase, and there's a log phase. Okay, and so again, the degree in which you fill this out and your breadth of knowledge is based on what you learn. Okay, but you're actually putting it to the test, right? You did your study, now you're putting your money where your mouth is. Okay, you're convinced you know it. This will tell you. So if you be able to flesh this thing out, right? You go, okay, well, what does lag phase mean, right? What does this mean, log phase? What does that mean? Okay, so if you can, bam, 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 you know all these things, and you fill this thing out in 30 minutes. I feel pretty confident you know it. Okay, so again, if it's going to be somewhere likely between 50% and maybe 100%. But somewhere in there is likely where you're going to reside in terms of how much you know. Right? But that's your test. Right? That's better than, that's probably the best thing that you can use to evaluate. So I'm going to tell you that you can make hundreds on Blackboard quizzes. It doesn't mean you're going to make 100 on the exam. Right? Flat tell you that. Yeah. So this is the way to test yourself. Right? And do it in chunks. Don't do it all at once at the end. Do it on a weekly basis. And pick a couple, 2 or 3 of those topics on the agenda review sheet that are coming up in lecture. And that we cover lecture. And then do it piecemeal at a time. Right? And again, if you do this exercise and what you see is that after 30 minutes looking at a page, blank, That's a red flag. Okay? That is a red, well, it's not red, but it's a red flag. Okay? And it's saying that. Okay? Help me. Okay? So that's when, you know, if you try to repeat the exercise and it still doesn't work, then you probably need help. And I'm going to be one of the people that help. Okay? So that's how to use this exercise. Okay? So, you know, it's probably a little bit of repetition maybe. But again, do this stuff way before the exam. Right? So by the time the exam time rolls around, you've done all the heavy lifting, and it's just a matter of really just a little bit of review. Okay? But that's my 2 cents on it. Okay? There is a document on Blackboard called Study Tips for Success in Biology courses that was actually made by the intro bio people. You took 1306, 07, I'm guessing. So, but that information is still relevant. So, it's on Blackboard if you want to look at it. Okay? Any questions? Okay. And let's see, another quicker question. So, this is more microbiology related. Which of the previously shown, so you saw these pictures were all on the previous slides, right? And here and there. Which is the one that, bacterial one that most commonly causes pneumonia? Lots of microbes cause pneumonia, but this bacterial type is the primary cause of pneumonia. Okay. Oh, let me open the poll, sorry. I always forget to do that. Okay. I'll clear the poll. There we go. See, I think we had 130 head count. Well, clicker count. 142. Okay, let's see what we got. And generally, I give like 30 seconds, but it usually ends up being about a minute worth of time because I forget sometimes. So, anyway, let's see. Come on. Okay. 57, 36, 30. What's funny is when it starts to change when it's up. It's like people want, oh, people will think B is correct, so everybody goes to B. Right? Let's see, is B correct? It is correct. Why is B correct? Streptococcus morphology, correct. Streptococcus pneumoniae. So B is Streptococcus morphology. So, let's see, I think, oh, there it is. This is the last one. Okay. So let me reset this. Okay. And so this is what we'll get into on Thursday. Right? So while you're mulling that over, reading it, is there any questions? So you, before Thursday, the clicker squared away if you can. Remember, you still have through September 1 to get that squared away. Look through the material, go on Blackboard, see what do that, go through the chapter 1 stuff. Smart work, so smart work, I forgot, there's a thing called a student set ID that you have to enter in. Okay? That's is on the documentation. It's called Smart Work Info on a folder on Blackboard. Look in there. Okay. All right. Is monkeypox caused by monkeys?
No.
No. Okay. No. Let's see what we got. So the consensus is G. What is that thing that's G? Wait, what that structure is called? Endospore. Endospores. So G is correct. Okay. So everything else is wrong except G. Okay. Anyway, we'll talk about that next time, folks. If there's no questions, then I'll see you on Thursday. Have a good one.